I accused my maid of stealing bread in my mansion. So I followed her home. What I saw in that cramped, rain-soaked house shattered everything I believed about power, money, and respect. But the real shock came later, inside my own boardroom, when she slid a document across the table, with my signature on it. I did not sign it. And the man who did was about to destroy us all. Before we dive into this incredible story, do not forget to subscribe, and hit the bell icon button so you never miss our powerful, life-changing content. I built my empire on control. Cold marble. Perfect ledgers. Then the pantry log showed missing bread. My gaze cut to Maria, my maid. I accused her under the chandelier. She did not cry. She said, "I will repay every cent." That dignity made me follow her. Rain hissed on the road. Her car stopped at a slumped house. Inside, a boy wheezed on a sofa. An old man stared at an empty pot. Maria warmed the bread on a burner. Then tore it into careful pieces. She saw me. "I clean your mansion," she whispered. But hunger does not clean itself. The room smelled of soap and medicine. My chest tightened. I realized my wealth had never fed my soul. She opened a notebook. Recipes. Costs. A bakery dream. Jobs for women no one hires. No pity. Only partnership. I invested. I also showed up at dawn. Hands in warm dough. Hearing laughter replace coughing. The bakery grew. So did I. Now my board demands I cut the charity arm. Maria slides one document across the table. My name is on it, but I did not sign it. I stared at the signature. Sharp. Confident. Mine, but not mine. The boardroom smelled like espresso and steel. Men in suits watched me like a verdict. Maria did not flinch. Her eyes held a calm fire. "That paper saves every job," she said softly. "It also saves you." My throat went dry. I felt the old me rising. The man who trusted no one. The man who accused before listening. "Explain," I demanded. My voice sounded smaller than I wanted. Maria slid a second file forward. Bank records. A silent trail of siphoned funds. Not from my company. From my personal foundation. 4 months. The CFO cleared his throat. Too late. His hands shook around his pen. Maria leaned closer. "I saw the numbers while cleaning your office," she said. "I did not steal your bread. I stole your blindness." My pulse thundered in my ears. Outside the glass, the city shimmered. Bright as a promise, cold as a knife. Security waited at the door. One word from me, and a life would collapse. But whose life, really? I looked at Maria. Her fingers were dusted with flour from this morning. I remembered her home. The careful pieces of bread. Then I turned to the CFO. And the room held its breath. My voice came out steady. "Stand up." The CFO rose slowly. His chair scraped like a confession. He tried to smile. It failed. "I can explain," he said. Sweat shined on his temple. Maria placed one more page down. A simple list of names. Women from the bakery. Single mothers. Mothers of sick kids. Every name matched a donation that vanished. My stomach turned. I remembered signing checks without looking up. I remembered thinking generosity was a line item. "You stole from the hungry," I said. The words tasted like ash. The CFO's eyes darted to the board. Seeking allies. Finding none. Not after Maria's proof. I nodded at security. 2 guards stepped in. The CFO's knees weakened. "Please," he whispered. My daughter needs. Maria interrupted, gentle but firm. Do not use your child as a shield. Use your child as your reason to be honest. The room went silent. Even the air conditioning sounded ashamed. Then the chairman leaned toward me. If you keep this charity arm, he warned, investors will punish you. I looked at the skyline. At the bakery logo glowing on a billboard below. At the warmth we built from nothing. Maria leaned in, almost a prayer. Choose who you want to be, she said. My hand hovered over the vote button. Green for keep. Red for cut. And my finger trembled. The button felt heavier than any deal I had ever closed. My fingertip hovered. The board watched. Their faces were polished stone. I heard the bakery in my mind. Ovens breathing heat. Trays sliding on metal rails. Maria laughing with the women as flour floated like snow. A boy's cough finally quiet. I pressed green. One clean click. Like a door opening. Gasps. A few sharp exhales. The chairman's jaw tightened. Then you accept the consequences, he said. I met his stare. I accept being human, I replied. Maria's eyes softened. Not pride. Relief. Like someone setting down a burden. Then my phone buzzed. A flood of alerts. Stock price dipping. Headlines igniting. Billionaire defies board. Investors react. My chest tightened again. Old fear. The empire shaking. Thousands of employees depending on my choices. Maria touched my sleeve, barely. Warmth through fabric. A reminder I was not alone. Tell them the truth, she whispered. Let the world see what you saw. The chairman leaned forward. You will lose control of the company, he said. Your shares can be forced. The room spun for a second. I tasted metal on my tongue. I thought of my father's voice. Never show weakness. Never bow. Maria slid her notebook toward me. On the first page, in neat ink. Bread for today. Dignity for tomorrow. My phone rang. An unknown number. I answered, and a calm voice said. We have been watching your foundation for months, Mr. Hale. My grip tightened around the phone. Who is this? I asked. A pause. Then, federal investigators. We can confirm your CFO has been laundering through shell vendors. We need your cooperation. The boardroom air felt thinner. The chairman's confident mask cracked. He leaned closer, trying to hear my side. I stood up slowly. The leather chair sighed behind me. Every eye tracked my movement. Power used to feel like adrenaline. Now it felt like responsibility. I will cooperate, I said into the phone. And I will speak publicly today. Maria exhaled like she had been holding her breath for years. Her hand pressed flat on the table. Steady. Grounding. The chairman's voice sharpened. You will destroy the stock. You will ruin the brand. I looked at him. At the men who measured life in quarterly reports. At myself, in their reflection. The brand, I said, was already ruined. It was just wearing expensive perfume. A flash of anger crossed faces. Then calculation. Then fear. My phone buzzed again. A message from the bakery manager. A photo. A crowd outside the shop. Local news vans. People holding signs. Thank you for keeping US working. Bread is hope. My throat burned. I blinked hard. I had signed 1,000 contracts. None of them ever thanked me. Maria leaned close. You do not need their approval, she whispered. You need your own truth. The investigator said, one more thing, Mr. Hale. We traced the forged signature. It was done from inside this building. I slowly turned my gaze across the boardroom. Not just the CFO. Someone else. Someone hiding behind silence. Then the chairman's assistant stood up, pale. And a folder slipped from her hands onto the floor. The folder hit the carpet with a dull thud. Pages slid out like startled birds. Wire instructions. Vendor names. A trail I recognized from Maria's file. The assistant's lips parted. No sound came. Her eyes flicked to the chairman. A silent plea. The chairman did not look at her. He stared at me. Too still. Too careful. Maria crouched and picked up one sheet. Her fingers were calm, flour-stained and brave. She read one line, then lifted her gaze. "This is not just theft," she said. "This is a system." My heart pounded against my ribs. I felt heat in my face. Not rage. Shame. Because I had built a machine so sharp. It could cut the poor without even slowing down. Security stepped closer. The assistant's knees buckled. "I was told it was approved," she whispered. "They said you wanted it hidden." I did not speak. I watched the chairman's hands. One finger tapping. A rhythm of control. "Enough," the chairman snapped. "This meeting is adjourned." I laughed once, quiet and bitter. "No," I said. "This is the first honest meeting we have had." My phone buzzed again. A calendar invite. Emergency shareholder call in 1 hour. No organizer name. Just a link. Maria leaned toward me. "Do not click anything," she warned. Her voice was soft, but urgent. The investigator's voice returned in my ear. "Mr. Hale, if they move fast, they can freeze your access. They can paint you as the villain." I looked at Maria. She nodded once. Like a partner. Like a compass. I raised my voice to the room. Everyone stays. Phones on the table. Doors locked. The chairman's eyes narrowed. "You cannot do that," he said. I slid Maria's notebook into my hand. Bread for today. Dignity for tomorrow. Then I looked straight at the chairman. "I can," I said. The chairman smiled, thin as a blade. "You own shares," he said. "We own the board." Maria stepped beside me. Her presence changed the air. Not louder. Stronger. I reached into my jacket and pulled out a sealed envelope. The one Maria had urged me to prepare weeks ago. Back then, I called it paranoia. She called it protection. "Before this meeting," I said, "I filed emergency voting proxies. 3 independent trustees. Activated if fraud is detected." The tapping stopped. For the first time, the chairman blinked hard. I placed my phone on speaker. "Agent," I said, "are you recording?" "Yes," the investigator replied. "And we have enough to move." A murmur rippled through the board. Chairs shifted. Suit sleeves brushed. Fear has a sound when money is involved. The assistant started crying silently. Maria touched her shoulder. Not forgiveness. Not cruelty. Just humanity. "You can tell the truth," Maria said. "You can still choose." The chairman stood abruptly. "I will sue," he hissed. "You will regret this." I felt the old fear try to grip my spine. Then I smelled warm bread in my mind again. Simple. Honest. Earned. I regretted accusing her, I said. And that regret changed my life. This regret will change yours. My phone lit up with another alert. A push notification from the market. A sudden spike. Not down. Up. Maria's brows lifted. The bakery crowd photo was being shared everywhere. People were praising the decision. Investors were noticing the story. The truth was becoming value. Then an email landed in my inbox. Subject: acquisition offer. From a rival billionaire I knew too well. The message was one line. Sell now, or we crush you by morning. I stared at the screen. My pulse surged. Maria read it over my shoulder. Her voice dropped to a whisper. He is the reason I changed my name. The words hit me like ice water. The reason? I asked. Maria's eyes did not move from the screen. In them, I saw a past she rarely let surface. A small tremor in her breath. Then control. Always control. He owned the factory where I worked years ago, she said. Overtime unpaid. Threats dressed as jokes. When I reported him, my life became smaller. Jobs disappeared. Doors closed. So I became Maria. The chairman heard her last words. His expression shifted. Recognition. Fear. Like he knew the name on that email too well. I turned the phone so everyone could see. The board members leaned in. Some stiffened. Some looked away. Silence became a witness. The investigator's voice crackled. Mr. Hale, that sender is connected to multiple pending investigations. Do not engage alone. I breathed in slowly. The room smelled of cologne and panic. Maria smelled faintly of flour and soap. One scent was performance. One scent was real. I looked at her. You built a bakery from hunger, I said. You taught me how to see. I will not let him erase you again. Her jaw tightened. I do not need saving, she whispered. I need standing beside me. My phone buzzed with an incoming call. Unknown number again. But this time, the screen flashed a name. The rival billionaire's name. The chairman's voice dropped. Do not answer, he warned. Whatever you do, do not answer. Maria's hand covered mine. Warm. Steady. Answer, she said softly. And put him on speaker. My finger hovered over the green icon. The room held its breath. And somewhere inside me, the old man of control and the new man of courage fought for the same heartbeat. I answered. Speaker on. His voice poured out smooth. Threats wrapped in silk. I let him talk. Then I said, Agent, are you hearing this? Yes, the investigator replied. Keep him speaking. Maria met my eyes. I felt her courage move through me like clean air. The chairman tried to leave. Security stopped him. My trustees confirmed the proxy. The board vote flipped in real time. Fraud suspended. Accounts protected. The rival billionaire realized too late. His words were evidence now. His power was only noise. Hours later, cameras waited outside. I stood beside Maria under plain daylight. No marble. No masks. Just truth. I told the world I accused the wrong person. I told them she did not steal bread. She saved lives. Including mine. Investors did not flee. Customers did not leave. They came. Because people trust honesty more than perfection. The bakery became a nationwide program. Training. Fair wages. Second chances. Maria led it. I funded it. Together, we built a success that fed the soul. Moral. Wealth without compassion is poverty in disguise. Listen before you judge. And when you find someone with a pure heart, do not stand above them. Stand beside them.